Yeah, so last week was an absolute banger. Hope you got to watch that. Watch this video. If you took Melly, it took those $250 that I was talking about contracts, and they ended up going all the way up to $10,000 a piece. So $250 turned into 10,000 a piece is absolutely absurd. That's one of the biggest moves I've ever seen. And I had 12 of those contracts and missed out on $120,000 because I sold a little early. Still great profit, but damn, that was crazy. So this week I'm not expecting to be like that, but at the same time, I still see some pretty great opportunities. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 real quick. This is the daily chart. This is the weekly chart, right? So weekly chart, we're starting to see like a nice little downtrend breakout, it looks like. This is the retest that I'm looking at right here from the 480 highs coming down through this. It looks like there's a little bit more room if I were to do these little wicks, but I'm going to do the body candle test, and I still think that 417.50 level is that big piece to it's kind of like a bear flag to me a little bit. It's a nice breakout here. We have core inflation data this week too, so we're going to get a look at what the July numbers look like for inflation. So if it comes in hotter than expected and consumer spending still isn't slowing down, then it looks like that could hit the market pretty nicely, especially with the jobless claims coming out this week as well. We have Michigan, their sentiment data coming out as well on Friday. So there's a lot of data that could really start pushing us back, and I think we're starting to get a little bit tired, especially on the weekly chart and on the daily chart. So I'm really looking for a nice little push up here at this 417 and this 200 EMA test. I have this line on here. I'll delete it for you really quickly from back on June 2nd. I still think that this is a pretty massive resistance point, and it matches up almost perfectly with this 200 EMA. So if it breaks above this, then maybe we test this 420-ish level and can remain bullish, but at the same time, I really, really think that we're going to pull back, depending on the data, of course. So if we do get bad data and we are around this area, I think we get a massive, massive pullback. So I'm actually swinging some SPX puts for about a week and a half, 2 weeks out. And I'm looking for a rejection, but I will play the momentum. So I'm looking for a nice little tick up to maybe this 417.50 level at first, early in the week. Then midweek, I think if the consumer data gets pretty shit on, with the CPI data and inflation, then I think that we would see a massive drop down. So it's long overdue. We've had a nice little rally for a while here in this bear market, and now we're starting to get overextended on these Bollinger Bands, and it looks pretty bullish, but at the same time, I think that these numbers can really, really send us down. So a lot of money to be made on the put side, in my opinion, if numbers come in the way I think they're going to. So same thing with the QQQ. EMA right here, 200 EMA is around this 326 level. It's a nice little downtrend. It's trying to break out of it, not really working too well. So I see a nice little maybe potential 314 in the QQQ, if not lower, using that June 6th or June 2nd a level for as a support now. So now we can break down below that and then maybe say 310-ish, 310 area if it rejects this level. So all eyes on Wednesday report pre-market for inflation data. So those are two things that I'm watching. Obviously, the SPY and the QQQ is really all you need to trade. I think that we are pretty overextended on the call side right now, especially with how shitty that the market is with economy standards. So I think that there's a lot more downside to come so far, pending that inflation data, of course. And then there is a couple earnings that I'm actually paying attention to, and I don't think that a lot of people really want to see earnings plays because they all think that they're gambles. This is the weekly chart on coin, but I do really like this coin move right now. So it moved all the way up here off this BlackRock news. So I think early on before they report, we could see a nice little drop down maybe to the 79 range. I don't know. It's just an exchange, and I look at Robinhood, and I can't really pinpoint why that this exchange would be popping off and go back to its 368 most recent high or whatever it may be. So this could be a nice little downside test down back to this 81.20 for that gap fill looking downside. And then I really kind of love Wix, right? So Wix is not the best company, right? They're not the best user interface platform with so much competition. There's not as many LLCs coming in to market this year because of the recession talks, and nobody's really starting businesses as much as they were. So I feel like even their market share is going to start ticking down. So they've seen a massive sell-off since their high. Obviously an overvaluation at 362. We're back down to 70, but we're seeing a nice rally here. And I really love the contract premium prices to drop down back down to like this 55-ish range. So $55 puts for the August 19th are about $70 a piece, but the in the monies are about 500 to 600 a piece. So could be a massive payoff. IV percentage is a little high, so we would need a really big move. They're implying a nice move, but If this breaks down to the downside, it could pay off really well. And if it does break out and you're on the downside, then it's only a $70 risk versus what you could potentially get paid out. So I really look for those high risk opportunities with limited downside. So that's what I'm thinking now. This is the only earnings play I really, really like this week, just the way that the premiums are priced. So I'm watching wicks to the downside. I'm watching the market start to cool off a little bit, SPY and QQQ. So I don't really see too much of an opportunity so far this week coming up, but once around this area is when it's going to start getting a lot of fun. So I'll most likely day trade this area in the morning, first few days. That Wednesday report is going to be massive. So could see some massive moves starting on Wednesday morning for the rest of the week. So expect some chop early on, but after that, we're going to start to see some heightened volatility. So good luck out there, SPY, QQQ. Hope you guys caught that Melly play last week. That was unbelievable. And let's see if we can catch some more, maybe with wicks. So hope these are helping you guys out, and let's make some money.